Ryan 你好，很荣幸可以邀请 Racing PUNKS 来到我们的 Blockz Academy 的频道接受我们的采访。那今天有我 Stacy 跟我的伙伴 Alfred。Hi
Ryan, it's very happy to see you on our AMA. It's our honor. Basically, we talked about your project before, and today we can get more ins and outs of the Racing Punk and let our audience know, what's the uniqueness and why we are so looking forward on Racing Punk.
Yeah, absolutely. Stacy, Alfred, hello to you guys again. Looking forward to sharing definitely a little more details about this project. And for everyone listening, welcome. I hope the next half an hour or so is going to be informative and fun.
Yep.
我们想就现在 Racing PUNKS 这个项目呢，可不可以给我们简单介绍一下
Yeah, please tell us, what Racing Punk is briefly.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So look, for those, I guess, meeting me for the first time, I'm Ryan. I'm the marketing director at Racing PUNKS. And the marketing answer I give to people about what Racing PUNKS is quite simply, we're the first GameFi protocol in the world where our in-game assets are available for a free mint, right? But if we break this down into the why, well, this project was created to solve two problems, right? The first problem we're solving is what is actually the utility of an NFT after the hype and the speculation, right? The second thing we want to solve is how do we actually organically grow a community that want to come together, into a GameFi ecosystem and make it thrive. And this is why it is a free mint, because as a free mint, we enable any Ethereum NFT project to mint the project and create a derivative of the NFT, right? And in doing so, we essentially create at least a 30,000 strong community off the bat. So this allows NFT owners, crypto gamers, and in the future, even mobile gamers to come on board and enjoy the game, have an earning aspect, and grow the community all together.
那对于现在我们项目的团队，那它是怎样的呢？它是怎样的构成？然后有多少人？然后可以给大家介绍一下吗？
Yes, one of the things, I always mention about, how to evaluate a good crypto project is if we can host the team and how solid of the team, is there any relevant background. So could you please introduce your team?
Yeah, look, absolutely. And Alfred, look, I have seen some of the videos that Blockz has done before. And I know this is a very critical component, right? And I think this is why I guess I'm here today in person, like fully doxed. I think if we were to break this down, Racing PUNKS has a team of 15 right now. What that means is our marketing and our operation teams are in Hong Kong, and our software development and gaming teams are based out of both US and China. And I think in terms of relevancy, like what kind of excites me about the team that we're growing is quite simply, we come from very different skill sets and relevant skill sets into this industry. So for example, Darren, who's our NFT director, he's spent a lot of time helping build A-list mobile games with a lot of Asian celebrities, right? Whereas John, who's our creative director, he's spent, how long was it? Like 32 years, right? Working with IBM, working with Electronic Arts, working with Namco and Bandai, right? Creating games. For me, like I came from OSL and I came from Pronetics. So I think the team brings a very wide range of skills that not only help with game development, operation, marketing, and beyond.
Nice. Good to hear a solid team background.
对于我们之前所了解的，我们的 Racing PUNKS 呢，其实它也是一个play to earn 方面的这个游戏，但是我们会把它归为win to earn 可能会更准确一点。那如果是这样的一个定义呢，玩家怎样在游戏里面赚钱呢？
Yes, Ryan, one of the questions I receive, a lot from our audience, all of the GameFi games right now is how can they make money while playing the game? So simply put, how can my audience can make money while playing Racing Punk?
Yeah, it's a question we get a lot from our community too, Alfred and Stacey. So the first, I guess, myth that we want to break, right, is that if you guys have played the Axes, if you guys have played like the Krabatas, the DeFi Kingdoms, the Thetan Arenas, right? Play to earn is this really big hype marketing message that lasts for maybe a few months.
Yep.
Right. True. And after that few months, because the hype of that message brings so many users on board, But bringing those users on board means it's a really high token emission because you're getting rewarded for effort as opposed to, say, skill. And these games are not sustainable. That's not what we want to create. So I think Stacey says something very interesting, win to earn, right? And the idea of win to earn, the foundations of win to earn is really skill-based, right? Okay. Skill-based gaming. But skill-based gaming only works if there is a great gameplay behind it. And so first of all, for us, we develop the game that's actually fun to play, right? And then we want to monetize the skill-based element within that fun to play narrative. So our win to earn works very simply like this. The token emission or the token reward for all the players happens between each player. So what that means quite simply is, let's say that in Racing Punks, Stacey, Alfred, and I, we have a race. Right, and there's a total pool of, let's say we're all putting 10 tokens and there's a 30 token pool. Stacey wins the game because she's a great driver. I come last because I'm terrible at driving, right? But the whole thing is Stacey takes that 30 fuel token, right? So our goal is that the earning reward system should happen between players, and it should happen fairly between players based on skill, as opposed to say paid by the protocol based on effort.
在我们的了解状态内呢，我们是由3个 token， 然后在这个系统里面去运作的。那希望 Ryan 可以详细的来解释一下这3种 token 它是怎样在系统里面去运作。
I've read the light paper of the Racing Punk, and one thing amazed me is there are 3 tokens inside your games. Loads of games like Axie Infinity, like Divine Kingdom, most of them they're like using the 2 token system. Why you're using 3?
It's a good question. I can tell you not just the why, but the motivation behind that 3 token system first, right? So what we see in this kind of Gen 1 version of GameFi models is you have your standard ERC20, let's say Ethereum, your ERC20 in-game utility token. Right, that's essentially the token you award users for participating in the game. Then you're going to have your DAO token, right, your governance token. And right now, that governance token is really used, I guess, to decide future economic proposals. Whether it's distribution of rewards between, I guess, the players and the protocol itself. So for us, same concept, right? We're not going to change something that's not broken. We're not going to change how to earn it. So for us, our in-game utility token is called Fuel. Like that's the token you guys earn by playing in the game. Our DAO token, which is called Club, is essentially here to address one key thing, right? We believe in governance, but we know there's a very low adoption rate of governance because it's dominated by the whales. Right, you go to most DeFi protocols, you even go to most GameFi protocols, the whales are the ones who are putting up the proposals and passing the proposals for the betterment of themselves, rather than for the whole community. So our club token is a fair launch. You can't buy it, no matter who you are. It's not available for pre-sale. It's not available for institutional. You have to actually mine it by staking your fuel. So in that sense, there's a 2 token system there that we're going to use for the growth of the community. But we have one more token, which is called FuelX, right? And FuelX is really our statement to the GameFi community that we don't just want to onboard Web3 gamers. We want to onboard mobile games.
Okay.
Right? There are 3.2 billion mobile gamers out there, right? That's the big market that we want to actually tap into, but the problem we know is I talk to my mates, they play mobile games. Right, they play Asphalt, they play the likes of PUBG, but they have no idea, right, how to play a crypto game.
Yep.
You tell these guys, hey, look, go buy fuel tokens on Uniswap or go buy fuel tokens on Binance. They have no idea. Exactly, right? They wouldn't know what to do. And more importantly, then you're like, okay, then stake it into the game, and there's it's so many friction points. So our goal is how do we actually provide a frictionless journey for mobile gamers to enjoy the game, right? Earn some FuelX, and then eventually, if they want to swap the FuelX for the fuel, right? It's a natural progression rather than for them to basically start by owning FuelX, understand staking, understand essentially earning rewards. So FuelX is a third of our token used for the mobile gamers. We want to play the game without the friction of owning ERC20 or any crypto tokens.
I see.
可不可以向我们再透露一点关于你们将会与其他的这个 NFT 的项目合作的相关的计划呢？
Yes, as you mentioned, I mean, most of my audience already know because it's just we basically make 2 videos to to introduce the Racing Punk. But one of the things is we already know one of the utilities of Racing Punk is empower another NFT project and another GameFi project, to make it as a whole ecosystem. So can you tell us? Is there any collaboration between Racing Punk and other NFT or GameFi projects right now?
It's a good question. I think for us, like the basic business model for us is we are allowing Ethereum NFT projects to create a derivative and to create utility on top of what they have, right? And for us, it's about 2 things. It's really about working with great Ethereum NFT projects. So right now we're working with the likes of, I think you guys might have heard of Bored Ape Yacht Club,
of course,
right?
Of course.
Of course. We're working with some crypto punk holders as well.
Okay.
Right. These are the ones we like to hear, right? These are the ones that it moves crypto Twitter, right? We just signed an exclusive agreement with, the famous Irene Zhao. So with Irene Zhao, I think there's we gave them a whitelist. They filled up with 2,000 people already, which was quite interesting, right? We're also working with her so-called community, which is basically their way of bringing Web2 influencers into Web3, right? Okay. And then we're also working with about 10 other projects right now to bring their communities on board. But as importantly, and this is something that just happened last week, we just signed off with 2 gaming guilds in Southeast Asia who are officially going to be partners with us and bring their gaming community on as well. So it's a demand and supply thing. We definitely are working and progressing with our NFT collection, but we're also bringing in the guilds to, bring the drivers and the gamers in as well.
Nice. So the community size already not small already, if there are lots of partners coming up.
Yeah, I love the collaboration aspect of what we do in the space. And I think that collaboration only makes sense when there is this mutual, utility,
yes.
between each project.
Yes, it's win-win for each other.
那如果说现在提到 NFT 吧，那 NFTs 呢，在我们这个项目里面，它可以有多少种变化？就是相关的这些数据，它会是怎样调配的？
Yes, I know. Just want to ask, how many designs and upgrades of NFT cars are there in Racing Punks?
A lot. That's the short answer, but I think the long answer, Darren will probably be the best person to ask for this because he's really passionate about cars, but I'll have a crack. Every car that you get, this spin is for 30,000 cars, right? And every car you get is a base car, is a white Evo 3000 car. Now, if you want to upgrade it, you can upgrade to one of the 20 models that we have. You can choose from the 30 base colors that we got. You can also add license plates to it as well to customize the car to be more yours. But the one thing that we really did story up is the whole idea of adding your NFT as decal on your car, right? So imagine you own a BAYC or a CryptoPunk or an Azuki. Once you add that NFT on the car, what you've essentially created is a derivative, right? But this derivative has yield generating aspects because you can use it to race in the games and earn the full token, right? So, and this is what's unique about it. You can take a 1 in 30,000 NFT and based on how you customize it, it can become a 1 in 1 NFT.
I see. Nice.
那关于car 就是赛车类型这样的游戏的话，那我想应该是有一些就是奖金的机制。那奖金的机制是怎么样的呢？
Tell us more about the rewarding system. I mean, let's say if I'm a good driver, just assuming I'm a good driver. So if I win, consecutively, how many percentage or how much I got?
That's assuming you're a good driver, right, Alfred?
Yeah.
Look, it's our tokenomics and our distribution, our rewards distribution.
Okay.
Wants to reward 2 sides, right? So if we take a quick example, let's say that Stacy is an NFT holder, or let's say she owns that BAYC, right? Alfred, let's say that you're a crypto gamer,
Yes.
You know, so how the mechanic works is for Stacy, when she puts her car up for rent, right? And then Alfred, let's say you rent that car to race. Out of every single race, what happens is that all the tokens you generate every race, Stacy will get 35% of all the token rewards purely by renting out that car. And Alfred, as the racer, you get 50% of all the rewards because you're the one doing the heavy lifting, right? You're the one actually in the game and racing the car itself. Mathematically, where's the other 15%? That other 15% also goes to everyone like Stacy who staked the NFT, right? So the mechanism that we're bringing in is we want to create a sustainable tokenomic emission model for the fuel token that rewards the holder and the racer. But we also want to elevate the price floor of the NFTs by rewarding NFT holders who stake the NFTs.
Okay. So I can stake my NFT. Let's say if I own a Boy AR Cup and then I create a car and then I can stake my NFT. But if I don't want to rent it out, I can still make some passive income.
I think what GameFi needs to look into as a whole is that there is a division between how much someone who owns, I guess, the GameFi product earns versus how much a gamer earns. And in this sense is that for a gamer, the natural assumption is if you own like a Bored Ape Yacht Club, you're probably not going to be grinding away, right? Every single day. I mean, if you want to, absolutely, like you're prerogative, right? Whereas if you're a gamer, you want to earn, you know, so our goal is that by rewarding both sides, the owner earns that passive income, right? Purely by owning the asset. Whereas if you're the gamer, you're also going to be rewarded fairly and on a skill-based way by contributing to racing in the game.
Great. This is the first time, you know, I heard the whole story.
I'm glad to share it with you guys, actually. Yeah.
那对于这个有关创建那个 Racing PUNKS NFT 啊，质押就是 staking 啊，或者说出租他们的这个过程，可以跟我们详细来聊一聊吗？
Yes, please tell us more about the process of creating a racing punk NFTs and the staking and the renting process. How I can do that with only NFT JPEG right now.
Yeah. So I don't know how to create a crypto punk, but I can show you how to create a racing punk one, right?
Sure.
I think the best way to look at what we want to create is to tackle the main problem, which is, I think for most, even like DeFi protocols and even GameFi protocols, right? The biggest problem that stops user adoption is really the user experience, right? When you see most of these platforms, the user experience is, it doesn't give the gamer or the user the sense of security that I know where my funds are, I know what to do next. So for us, the first thing that we did was that we need to create a platform where it's easy to mint the car, it's easy to stake the car, it's easy to upgrade the car, and it's easier, I guess the main goal is to figure out how much rewards have I earned, right? And what I can do with the rewards. So that whole user journey from minting to racing to earning is all done by our website. We've built a portal which allows us to mint on the website, allows us to upgrade, allows us to stake, and I guess, you know, for racers and NFT holders, gives you a clear view of your assets real time in the game, right? So the idea is that the better the user experience we make it, the less friction we're going to bring in to stop people from, I guess, A, mint, B, upgrade, or C, race.
反正说到这里呢，我现在真的是迫不及待的想去拥有我们的 Racing PUNKS 的 NFT 啊，还有 car 啊类似的相关的东西。但是如果我站在一个持有者的角度啊，我是 Racing PUNKS 的持有者，那我将会获得什么样的实用性的东西呢？就是这个又是要怎么去平衡的呢？
Yes, that's a good one. You know, Ryan, I gotta ask the top question about the utility. One thing,
one
thing about, you know, all the critics towards the NFTs, it's only a JPEG, man. You know, there's no way I will spend so much money to buy a JPEG. So, you know, I know there are loads of utilities that comes from Racing PUNKS. So tell us more about it.
It's a good question. It's a good question. I hope my answers are going to be sufficient. You're right. Like we said before, what is the utility of an NFT? Right. And I think one of the biggest challenges we always see is that it's a small lift to create a PFP, right? Because you can generate that art very simply. Now, if we were to say that the future utility of that NFT has to rest in a metaverse, has to rest in a GameFi protocol, like how strong is that team able to develop that product in a time frame where the game, the PFP, or even I guess the theory of the creation is still relevant, right? So for us, our process is let's look backwards. Like we know there is utility in GameFi, right? So let's create the GameFi first. We know there are friction points for users to come on board. So let's do a free mint. So that's the first trench. It's really about saying it's a no risk entry into a sustainable GameFi product. But that's just stage one, because the way that I guess our DAO and the way that our gaming studio has developed it is that this is not just a one title product, right? There is going to be a product in 2024 called Buggy Punks, and there's one in 2025 called Racing Punks Evolution. And the whole idea is that with 3 gaming titles, the NFT that you own today is going to be interoperable, right, in all 3 game types.
I see. So there's 3 games.
Yes, there's 2 more. There's two more coming out.
Nice. And the Racing Punk NFT, can be used in other ecosystems as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Alfred, you raised a really good point, right? Because like you hear this buzzword of interoperability a lot, right? People go, it has to be interoperable, whether it's cross-chain, whether it's multi-chain, right? But if you ask most projects, like, can you tell me what is the practical application of your asset for this? Most people won't know, right? And the problem is because no one looks at the lift of that production in 3 years' time. So for us, the way we see it is that we know what real interoperability looks like. And it looks like essentially giving one asset and giving it utility in more than one location. But then it's interesting because asset to us in this ecosystem is not just the NFT, right? It's also the tokens. So the fuel token, our in-game utility, the club token, which is our governance, those tokens are also interoperable in all 3 games.
Oh wow! That's a big one.
It's a nice little fact that we want to tell people. This is how we define interoperability, right? And that interoperability is not just bringing interoperable NFTs, but also giving as many demand drivers for the NFTs and the tokens as we can.
Nice, very interesting.
那我们现在其实关注的重点就是让我听起来特别的兴奋的这个 project， 想知道这么让人很想去早一点见到他们的这个项目呢，就是在今年。那你们的主要的目标是什么呢？那目前这个项目的进度又是如何呢？大概什么时候可以跟大家见面？
Yes. So, Brian, what are your? I mean, not your personally, but the Racing Punk, the major goals in this year, and what's the status of the game right now?
It's a good question. So, like we said, Alfred, we are not a one title product, right? Yes. And we know that 2022 is important to set the foundations for that growth. Now, foundationally, what that looks like from a metric perspective is one, we want to, we'll be minting out the 30,000 cars. That's metric number 1, right?
Okay.
2, and essentially what that does is that means we'll be bringing on board a plethora of NFT projects in their community zone, right? Goal number 2 is to bring on the guilds, right? The guilds and the players that essentially are going to form the basis of this, the earn equation. And stream number 3, and this is something that I'm actually quite really excited for because I don't think any Web3 game is doing this, is we actually launched a very big campaign to onboard mainstream mobile gamers, right? Oh. Our game is good. Like, I like our game. And the thing is, for this community, for this project to be sustainable, it's not just sitting on the leg of the NFT collector and the Web3 gamer. It's about spreading the idea of the fun and the community to the Web2 gamers that love racing, that love MMORPG, that love the MOBAs.
Yes, definitely. Because, whenever related to esports, it's fun. It's fun, Even I'm not good enough to participate in those esports tournaments. I will still, spend 6 to 2 hours per day to watch a live stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, what kind of live streams? Like, are you on Twitch, Alfred?
Pardon?
Do you watch it on Twitch or YouTube?
On Twitch and YouTube as well.
Yeah, it's addictive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's addictive. Sometimes I think about, probably you already think about it in Racing Punk whole ecosystem is hey, I spend 6 to 8 hours per day to watch that. Then I should be rewarded for something. I'm probably I'm pretty sure you have that mind in the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, look, I love how you mentioned the idea of esports, right? Because to me, from a marketing perspective, esports is very much top of the funnel. It brings awareness to the game, right? Now, what you want to do as you move down that funnel is how do you reward, I guess, the gamers, right? Or the watchers. And there is that earn element. But also the one thing that we want to explore is the idea of progressing your NFTs, right? So the more that you play your NFTs, right, the higher skill. Because I kind of feel like that the Web2 gamer, like they don't care about earning, money, earning the tokens.
True.
Right. True. They're not there. Like I don't play enough games, but when I talk to someone like Darren, like he's not going to play this to earn like $5-10 a day, but he would if he owns the character, which becomes an NFT, and that character essentially progresses and grows with him. Yeah. Right, and that's something that we're keen to explore, and I think it's going to be the most attractive thing for the Web2 gamers as well.
It's very happy you come to here, and probably you can come here again, after a few months, probably or next year we will update our audience your latest information, and I believe we can get the latest information in Racing Punk Discord or Twitter, right?
Yeah, look, I'm just gonna have to do a free plug now because I'm here. So it's always good to be here with you guys. I think this interview's been quite fun, right? And I think for everyone watching, guys, thanks for watching till the end. I think one thing that we're doing right now, we're actually releasing the beta version of the game end of September.
Okay.
Right? And what we're going to do is that we are actually going to reward our Discord community who's been very fun, very loyal, very engaging with us, right? Not only the first access, but we want to start giving these guys a lot of, I guess, let's call it NFTs or utilities inside the game by trying out the game first. So, definitely check out our Twitter, definitely join the Discord. And I love to see you guys there because we hold AMAs quite regularly. So if you're not sick of my voice and my face, I'm going to probably do a lot more of this in the future.
Thank you very much, guys.